Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 85 of the Seezus Show. Back at it with Trade Day XXIV, and I'm happy that we are here for another fun-filled episode. So, obviously, before I get into today's hottest topics, I just want to rehash with you guys episode 84. So, episode 84. Trade Day XXIV was out, taking a little hiatus, but he's back now. So I had Mike Checks join in, and we recorded the podcast virtually. We discussed a good amount of topics, including LeBron's More Than a Vote initiative, players planning on sitting out, players testing positive for COVID-19, Vince Carter retiring, and much, much, much more. But before we get into today's hottest topics, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, my co-host, Trey Day XXIV.
What's up, everybody, man? Glad to be back in the spot as usual. Oh my God, back at it again. Hey, man, just happy to be back in the spot. Did some minor moving around here and there, you know what I'm saying? I had to get about the paint before I had the 3 seconds called on me, but no more 3 seconds, so we in this thing, and I'm ready to pod. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the first thing I want to talk about are the NBA 2K21 cover athletes. Just want to show a little bit of love. So first and foremost, for the current gen is not the next gen anymore, which is kind of crazy. It's crazy how PlayStation 4 and how the Xbox came out in 2014 of the fall.
Yes, sir.
Now, 6 years later, fast forward the time, we got the PS5 and whatever the Xbox got. I don't really mess with Xbox like that. I'm a hater. But anyways, for the current gen, for PS4 and for Xbox One, Damian Lillard is going to be the current gen athlete. Cover look real nice. I'm really rocking with it. For the Legend Edition, we got Kobe Bean Bryant. Artwork was sensational. I love it. And I might be that type of guy to go cop that. It really just depends. I know we kind of in the virtual era with things, so a lot of people really don't buy hard covers anymore. But it would be nice, to have them on a load up screen as well too.
That'd be good to have.
And then for the next gen, we got Zion Williamson. It's gonna be crazy. And I think it's much deserved. There was a couple people that I thought that came to mind. I was like, yo, who should be the next gen athlete? So some people that came in mind was Ja Morant. Obviously, they're having a little battle back and forth with Rookie of the Year. And then also, he's not a rookie, but Luka Doncic, he's one of the next coming as well, too. So I heard a lot through social media like, yo, Zion's played like under 30 games. Like, how could he be, the face of basically the next gen for 2K? And in my head, I'm just like, well, even though he hasn't played that much, the amount of impact that he's had for his team and the amount of hype that he had coming around, I mean, basically his whole teenage life, kind of like Bron, he's kind of, the next up. So it makes sense because once LeBron and all these people are gone, we're going to see, who's going to have that passing the torch.
Facts.
The only person that comes to my mind as far as an American athlete would probably be Zion Williamson. But what are your thoughts on, the current gen, the Legend Edition, and Zion being the face of the next gen console?
I think Dame is cold. Is a cold pick. It's and cold, but I mean good. Dame is just the ninja, like the assassin, in the shadows, just slit your throat real fast type joint. Dame time, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that you do see coming, but you don't see coming. You don't underestimate him. He's kind of like a force of nature in a way. So Dame getting his respect from the 2K producers and cover artists and everybody involved in that process is very big. Dame, gets it all from the dirt. He is what he talks about. He's not on social media posting workouts and stuff like that. No disrespect to anybody who does, but he's a certain kind of player. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the current gen, in a way, kind of paying homage in a way to the last gen, where it was like, no photos, but at the same time, I'm here now. I'm gonna do it in like an adult, like grown man type way. Dame was a good head nod, a good like take a bow kind of cover to have, and I think he deserves that. There's nothing to say about the Kobe one. I mean, that is what it is. Respect to the legend, R.I.P. And That's the
about
buzzer.
that,
It's
my
the
dryer.
buzzer. It's the buzzer. And yeah, time's up. Yeah, it's a shot clock. It's a shot clock. Perfect time. But no, hey, we're just happy to be in the spot, man. Don't mind us. But and then Zion. I think Zion, you're like, yo, people are like arguing against it. But I think it's a money play. Two, being around cars in a way, and this is gonna here comes Trey, just being Trey off from the start. All right, I'm back, nigga.
here
I'm back. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. Talk on me.
We here for it.
Who want test? But but just from a durability standpoint, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, what can I get that's gonna, get me as much money for my bang for my buck as possible? The durability, who I think is gonna be here for the longest time, stuff like that. And we're always looking to crown the next king. You know what I'm saying? Just as soon as one king gets crowned, we want to crown the next king. It's a capitalism society. It's supply and demand. It's just where we want the next thing, the next update. We want the next update, and Zion looks like the next update of whatever extra superhuman prolific that LeBron kind of was embodied, or that is currently. And we just want to say, all right, come on, LeBron, we want to get to the 2022 edition card type joint. So I think from a money standpoint, I think from a ooh and ah standpoint, I think Zion does it definitely from an athleticism kind of thing. Now, granted, you cannot sleep on Ja Morant. You can't sleep on him. He didn't get picked for this one, and there was politics involved, of course. Yeah. But I just think from like an overall like eye test, and it sucks, but an eye test, and you're like, you know what? He's gonna be as much like the reigning face of the league. He's gonna be very similar to the reigning face of the league. So let's just throw him in the pot. Ja Morant doesn't have LeBron's build. He's not LeBron's per se position, even though LeBron does encompass a point guard role. But Ja Morant is not going to get out there and play a power point forward type position, whatever like that. Neither is Zion, but Zion is very much closer to the build that is. And it's like, all right, that was similar to what I got last time from the store, so I'm going to do it again. It's not the same model, but I'm going to get it because it's the same brand in a way. Yeah. So I think that was what the Zion pick for the next generation cover. A good pick. I think Zion's going to be prolific. He's a moving highlight reel. Same as Ja Morant. And I don't think Ja Morant's super far from getting that nod. And also Luka. Luka, he might do some crazy stuff, might do some numbers. And honestly, he might be closer to a championship run than the other two guys, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I thought for current gen, y'all gonna hate me for this. I was like, why not give Kawhi that joint? Because he
okay.
Because you know what I'm saying? He was just Finals MVP, had an historic run as well too. But
yeah,
I guess a lot of people
Kawhi hate out there.
With him, he's very, very quiet. So I can see maybe from a marketing standpoint why it wouldn't work. Because with 2K, if you guys have played it with the whole like loading screen with 2K, like the players who are invested in that, like they have constant interviews and just constant interaction with fans and like that too. So I feel like Kawhi is the type that's just like, yo, I just want to work and go home. So F all that. Because I was just looking at jersey sales, and Damian Lillard won't even in the top 15 for sales. And Kawhi was at number 7. So I was like, he probably still has some wiggle room for that. But
question, and this might be not the greatest question, but Trae Young hasn't made a cover, has he?
Nah.
So, not saying like he struggled here and there, but as far as people that have played, he's out there nutmegging people. Mm-hmm. He is an offensive force within himself, between like maybe him and like a Devin Booker possibly. Yeah. But just again, like as far as a cover athlete, you're looking for somebody that might move mountains or has done like the things that people think they wouldn't do in a way. I think that's where they were coming from for these covers. Yeah. They wanted like, just gravitate, like kind of look at them and remember a moment type players, or like look at the moments to come, or what do you think when you think of this person? I think that's I think it's all marketing, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, we excited for 2K. The only thing I'm really concerned about is the gameplay itself. A lot of people like to play my player, my park, and all that. I kind of got tired of that. I really just care about my league, and just regular exhibition type of games or online play. So hopefully it's nice. Moving on from that, the schedules got released, and we have some nice games coming up, but I kind of more so want to focus on the West and ninth through 13th, or the 8th through 13th seed. Obviously, Memphis has the 8th seed. And then following that, I believe in the ninth seed is the Portland Trailblazers, and then the 10th seed is New Orleans Pelicans. So I was looking at their schedule, and just going off of what you were talking about, just when politics are in play, I was looking at the schedule, and Memphis has a pretty tough schedule. So basically, like I said before, previous
Trying to get
episodes
them out of
ago,
there.
they are in the AC right now, Memphis is, but after those 8 regular season games are done with, if the 9th seed is within 4 games of 8th spot, then they'll have a plan for the 8th seed. So I was looking at the schedule, although I believe Memphis is, let me double check. Obviously Memphis in 8, but Portland's 3.5 games and New Orleans 3.5 games behind them, which is crazy. Yeah. But I was looking at Memphis' schedule. They play Portland on my birthday. And then after that, they play the Spurs. Then they play the Pelicans, the Jazz, the Thunder, Raptors. So basically all playoff teams except for the Spurs for real. But I was like, damn, I can see the Blazers beating Grizzlies that opening night, because I just feel like Dame wants it more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I can see Grizzlies losing to OKC. I can see them losing to the Raptors. I can see them losing to Utah, and I can see them losing to the Pelicans as well, too. And it's just crazy because the Pelicans actually have the easiest schedule coming back. So I took a look at their schedule. They play the Jazz. I think that's winnable. They play the Clippers. I don't really see them winning that. Then they play the Grizzlies, 50-50. Then they play the Kings. Then they play the depleted Wizards. Mm-hmm. Then they play the Spurs. Then they play the Kings. Then they play the Magic. So I'm like, yo, you're set up to, even if you don't win out, you can still be within 4 games to play for the 8th seed, or for their playing as well too. And then I looked at the Blazers schedule as well. The Blazers have a pretty tough schedule. They got the Grizzlies, the Celtics, the Nuggets, the Rockets, the 76ers, and the Clippers as well too. So my question for you is, with the schedule coming out, who do you think out of all those teams has the best chance to get that 8th spot? Mind you, another thing to take into consideration as well, too, is like this pandemic that's been going on, this quarantine, this isolation has forced people to obviously be confined in their own personal space, but it's giving them a lot of time to rest and a lot of time to bulk up, a lot of time to work on their game. So it's literally like another off season to prepare you for the next season. You know, those people who bust their ass in the off season, and then when the regular season starts, you really see who's taking that leap and who's not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I heard John Morant put on about 8 to 10 pounds of weight. Zion just came out with that new photo looking like Bane, and there's been like some social media outlets for the Portland Trailblazers all look like they've been working as well too. So who do you think has the best shot at getting that 8th seed?
I think the best shot currently, it looks like the Pelicans. The one maybe I would bet on the most, probably the Blazers and Dame coming in just from the veteran play, the determination, and thinking about it. I don't know what sparked this, but a comment you just made, it's just kind of Dame's will part in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might, and I know it's the same level playing field, but for people that this might be a slightly different form of NBA basketball than we've seen. This is almost a high-level professional AAU tournament in a way, and not taking anything away from the league, no disrespect, but looking at it that way, it is going to be some of the grind and the grime of the summer ball and the league play and stuff like that. It'll look like that. Yeah. It'll really look like that. I mean, they might dress up the finals and stuff like that. They might change it up for the playoffs, but it'll look very similar to some of these tournament games and stuff like that. So I think the grimiest player wins, and something just tells me that Dame has something for this. You know, this is not just oohs and ahs for fans. This is not. Now it's like, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna hoop, I'm gonna get as many buckets as I want until somebody stops me. And for the people that are proficient in getting buckets when it's quiet in the gym and when it's loud in the gym, I think Dame is the person to do that. So I would give them the edge because that guy's on the team, the cover athlete, and then the second cover athletes coming in Zion being a new young player who has a team around him that's still growing,
Yeah.
who has a who has an ideal path to the playoffs. And it would be very interesting to see if they kind of like snuck in with a Grizzlies fall off, and it had to be like a playoff between the Blazers and the Pelicans, and maybe that would give the ratings and the broadcasters, if you say they're going to set it up like this, a better chance to see Zion make the money off of him playing, and then go ahead and put up the most favorable matchups with the Lakers, who probably will have that number 1 seed. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that might be what it comes down to. No disrespect to the Grizzlies, but it doesn't seem super favorable for them to withstand this little 8-game streak and then a playoff run as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Only thing I'm concerned about is who is going to be that player at the forward position to guard the perimeter for them, because Trevor Ariza, who they acquired through trade,
very true,
he's not coming back. Obviously, we know why.
Yeah.
And then also Rodney Hood tore his Achilles early on in the season as well, too. That was someone that they re-signed. So Nurkic is back. Zach Collins should be back. So that will give him some depth at the big position. But it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be that person to step up. So I'm looking forward to, what the Blazers do. But yeah, I think it's set up. I think it's set up for the Pelicans to thrive. And if they're all on the same page, then the odds are in their favor, because almost every single game I saw Zion play, even if they didn't win, they lost by very little points as well too. So they're going to go out there and compete. So
yeah.
It's going to come down to willpower and who's the most focused and locked in, for real. Moving on from that,
I'm so focused.
in the East is just kind of in shambles right now, man. It's looking real
like the Hunger Games. You're
yeah.
the cannon.
Yeah, man. So the Wizards star Bradley Beal will not play and restart the NBA season due to shoulder injury. We already have Bertans, who's about to be an unrestricted free agent. He's not coming back. Obviously, John Wall suffered a heel/Achilles injury. He says 110%, but he's not coming back as well too. Okay. And it's like, what's the point of them coming back? And then also for the Nets, they had some people who are not coming either. Obviously, we already know about KD. We already know about Kyrie Irving as well too. But Spencer Dinwiddie got tested positive for coronavirus. DeAndre Jordan got tested positive for coronavirus, and then also Wilson Chandler won't be participating because of coronavirus as well too. So it just kind of makes you think, like, damn, son, like,
yeah, bro.
It's an easy layup for the Bucks, easy little layup for the Raptors if they keep their seeds intact. But it's like, damn, like, if you're gonna have that many players test positive for coronavirus, is it even worth going into the bubble? You're gonna be kind of depleted. But what are your thoughts on, like I said, those players that I listed? Some sitting out for injury-related reasons, personal reasons. Obviously, the number one reasoning is COVID as well too.
Yeah, I think you say what's the reason? I haven't looked at the sheer things, which is what I really enjoy looking at it, the behind the scenes shit. But it's like, what's the money going into the teams that are going to be in the bubble? You know what I'm saying? So there has to be something, because it's like, there's not fans or attendance, stuff like that. And I'm sure that the teams that are outside of the bubble looking in, literally, are feeling some type of way, because that's not going to be very much exposure, whether it's just marketing or it's probably some kind of cash compensation. And they're like, yo, what the heck? And the league's probably just like, be better.
Yeah.
So the Wizards, love-hurt relationship with them. Not even love-hate, just love-hurt.
Love-hurt.
Yeah, they're crawling into the bubble. The Nets, they're just a reflection of what we saw going on during the season, and now, of course, with all this adversity, it kind of made the cookie crumble even more. So I can't say I didn't see this kind of coming for the Nets, but it'll be a good chance for people to get out there and ball, and whatever happens. But we know both of these two teams are not going to go into the finals if not past the first round of playoffs. If I think are the Wizards in contention? Where's not even,
Yeah, they're in the bubble.
okay.
I think they're the ninth seed. Orlando's the eighth seed, and the seventh seed is Brooklyn.
I don't see the Wizards going.
Yeah, they're not.
And I don't.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. It's for these teams like the Pelicans to beat up on them so they can.
Well, I can see somebody going down there and making some money as far as like for next year. Like so if you're like a possible free agent or a possible young gun or a possible somebody that's just kind of been bouncing around the league on one of these teams, this is huge for you, because this is pure, unadulterated, none of the BS basketball in a way. I mean, other than the officials, they're gonna get the officials and stuff like that. But this is like goddamn hoop. So if you have anxiety, if you have to stand the third, the crowd's not gonna be just hoopers hooping. Yeah. What you do. So this is a good chance for you to make your money. Make your money. You know what I'm saying? And that's that on that. That's how I feel.
Another notable player that's sitting out is Victor Oladipo, and basically. He basically said the reason why he wants to sit out is a quote from him. I really want to play, and as a competitor and teammate, this is tearing me apart. I feel like I'm at a great place in my rehab and getting closer and closer to 100%. With all the variables from how I have to build my 5-on-5 workout load back up to the increased risk of a soft tissue injury, which could delay my rehab, and the unknown exact setup of the bubble, I just can't get my mind to being fully comfortable in playing. I have to be smart, and this decision hasn't been easy, but I truly believe continuing on the course I'm on and getting fully healthy for the 2021 season is the right decision for me as well, too. So I understand where he's coming from, and I think in the next upcoming season, that's his last year of his contract.
Yeah.
I think he signed like a 4-year, $80+ million contract. I mean, I feel like if a piece truly needs him, a competing team aside from the Pacers, I feel like he would rock. Yeah. But it's basically his team right now, and they're doing a good job at acquiring people via trade through draft.
They're a decent team.
Yeah, for a small market team, they're holding their own. I mean, they're 39-26 right now. They're the 5th seed right now. Victor Oladipo only played 13 games, so they were well in playoff contention before he even came back. So I don't really count it as a huge loss, especially like when we saw him this year. You can tell it's kind of like when Paul George came back from that leg injury. Like he played the last couple games of the season, but he wasn't really fully up to par. And you're getting a guy who was playing on a minute restriction, coming back after missing all this time, playing 8 games, going straight to the playoffs. He's not really going to be that effective. So I kind of agree with him, for not playing as well too. Yeah. And I agree with other players who had that concern as well too. Any additional thoughts on that?
Nah, I think it's solid that Vic's not playing, and more power to him. He's one of my favorite young players. Always has been. The athleticism is ridiculous. His leadership style. He's a quiet guy, but gets the job done. So get your money, black man. Keep it going.
Get your money. Get paid, young. Get paid.
Sure.
So that's great. Some notable things as well to look out for. Patty Mills. Shout out to Patty Mills, my Spurs boy. So he's definitely going to be returning to the bubble with the San Antonio Spurs. And he said that he's giving his NBA salary to Black Lives Matter social justice causes. So his salary is going to turn out to be $1 million, over $1 million. And like I said, he's donating to Black Lives Matter, Australia, Black Deaths in Custody, and to a recent campaign that's called We Got You, dedicated to ending racism in sports in Australia. Mills said in a video posted by the Spurs. So obviously we had that whole, open conversation about are we for or against, players sitting out and boycotting, and what alternatives can they do when they're there. So that's one of the alternatives as well too. So I like the initiative he's taking as well. And then also that kind of brings me into Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard, before we get into what we think he adds to the Lakers coming back with Avery Bradley not being there anymore, obviously, he decided that he's going to play. Obviously, he's one of the main catalysts with Avery Bradley, Kyrie Irving, among others, about potentially sitting out because the NBA is going to be a distraction for most. But then the counter argument was, well, we're going to be seen on TV the whole time, so let's utilize our platforms and also give the country some time to heal with everything that we're going through with COVIDs, deaths, unemployment, racial injustices that are going on as well too. So he said, I have a contractual. Dwight Howard said this. I have a contractual obligation to my teammates, to my fans, the Lakers, the organization, to everyone. But at the same time, I also have an obligation to my family and to my community. We will be getting a lot of work done here in Atlanta and around the nation as far as making sure people don't forget about us and what's going on in our communities as well too. So he also said that my sadness has grown deeper as I watch people firmly plant themselves on one side or the other, usually based on race. We need a new perspective, a new life. We need to breathe. We need to breathe again. Oxygen represents life. We need to fill our bodies with new life. It is time for us to look past color, zip codes, the problems, and look towards the causes of solutions as well too. So Dwight Howard is going to make approximately $700,000, and he's going to donate all that money to a charitable initiative called Breathe Again, which I just mentioned as well too. So it's good that he's giving back as well too, because $700,000 can do a lot as well too. So I'm proud that he has an obligation to still fight for his people, still play, and he's making a difference as well too. But my question for you is, we already know Avery Bradley's out, and Dwight Howard's coming back, and honestly, he's probably, you can argue, because Kuzma, it seems like he was pretty inconsistent. You can argue that Dwight Howard is probably the best man off the bench for the Los Angeles Lakers right now. And I feel like if he didn't come back, the only big you got is JaVale McGee, because DeMarcus Cousins is not signing anywhere. And if he was smart, he probably wouldn't even risk his injury or his health in general as well too. But what do you think this adds for the Lakers? And do you think, even though Avery Bradley isn't there, and obviously they acquired J.R. Smith and Deion Waiters is working his way back and whatnot, do you think with the addition of Dwight Howard and that veteran presence that he has, and him just turn a whole new leaf and realizing what the bigger picture is, do you think with him being there that kind of solidifies their race to get to the finals?
I think yes, because the biggest thing the Lakers have right now, definitely barring that Avery Bradley is gone, is the size. The rebounding potential, the potential that they're probably the third best rebounder, and not even from a statistical standpoint, but just from a build standpoint, the third best guy is their point guard forward, best basketball player potentially of all time. And so it just plays into their main strength that they're going to need when they go up against a Clippers kind of lineup and stuff like that. So, yeah, so Dwight coming back just adds another fold to their game, another layer to their strength, another a punch to their combo. And I want to shout out what he's doing and just his mindset, because I think there's a lot of ways to the same to the goal. You know what I'm saying? I think we get caught up in saying, oh, we should do this way, this, that. But there's a lot of ways to the same goal that we all want. And I kind of broke it down to somebody yesterday, and I was telling them about how I felt about the league restarting and stuff like that, which I've had strong views even on this podcast about it. But the main thing is, he's like, so at the end of the day, are you staying to tune in? I'm like, at the end of the day, one, I'm a fan. But at the end of the day, I think the main thing we should do is, if we're going to hold these organizations in a certain regard, in a certain pedestal, we just have to hold them accountable. That's all we want. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to come back, yes, it could be somewhat of a distraction. But why not take the negatives and make a better picture? You know what I'm saying? And go ahead and flip it on its head. These guys are donating their salaries as part of their salaries. They're using it in their communities, probably like they've already been doing as well. So I can't take away from that. But we do want that if you're going to come back full force and you're going to make your money, as you always do as a league, and trickle down, hold them accountable. Because, look, don't come in and just start going crazy. Read the room, understand what's going on in this country. Let's do this. Let's be a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, let's move the envelope further of what's going on in these streets, out in the communities that you have teams in, and so on and so forth. So the NBA being back is one thing, but the next thing is, how can we use that to support everything that's going on these past few months? And I think we're taking the first steps to do that.
Yeah, and just to bring up his stats, Dwight Howard's in his 16th season still looks like one of the most athletic big men in the NBA. Off the bench, averaging 7.5 points on a career best 73.2% from the field with 7.4 rebounds and 1.2 blocks. It's probably one of the best screeners I've seen, and that really helps with LeBron and them boys as well too, and it allows AD to be comfortable in playing the 4 position, because if he won't there, AD will be playing the 5 a lot. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out for them, which brings me back to J.R. Smith. So obviously J.R. Smith officially signed not too long ago as well. How do you see him fitting in? Obviously he has, some tenure, some credibility built up with LeBron James as well too.
Some
but
repertoire.
with Avery Bradley going down, do you see him playing a good amount of minutes? And do you see him, being impactful for the Lakers as well too?
I believe that J.R. Smith will be very good when it comes to the Lakers. I think that he will get minutes. I think he's down to kind of ease him into the lineup. But for a shooter, shooter's gonna shoot.
Gonna shoot.
You crazy. Sewell crazy. That's funny. But yeah, so I think he comes in, he'll serve his function. I think you sent me the post the other day. It's like, they want me to come in, they want me to shoot the ball. Duh! You know what I'm saying? Sorry, listeners, if that hurt your ears and headphones. Sorry, I'm yelling. But duh, so if he comes in and does his job, which is shoot and, work into the defensive rotation well, get some minor stops, some little rebounds. I think that's all you can ask for him. And I think J.R. Smith has the ability to hit shots as a however many year NBA veteran. Just don't lose track of the score and time. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
Nah, to be honest, the only thing that I'm concerned about is how up to speed with 8 games, and obviously they have a couple scrimmage games. Like, how up to speed are you going to get to solidify your playing time on that team? And then obviously you've been removed for about a year as well too. You're a little older. Avery Bradley was the one that was known for guarding the Damian Lillards, the Steph Currys, the Kyrie Irvings, all these elite level guards. So Danny Green can't do all that. Like, who do you expect to do that going in there? You expect him to do that? Can he still do that? So that's my biggest remark with him, because I know AD and LeBron are so good that he's going to get open shots whenever he has minutes on the floor. Danny Green's going to get open shots. Kyle Kuzma, KCP, all of them are going to get nice shots. So my biggest thing is your overall conditioning, your overall willingness to learn on the fly, and you playing some defense, because like I said, we haven't seen that in such a long time. So I think he's going to be fine, but
I'm going to keep it a stack. I don't see J.R. Smith playing too much defense at all.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking that maybe playoff Rondo and Caruso are going to get those minutes, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dion actually gets a lot of those minutes as well too, because he's
might be a little bit better
essentially kind of like a combo guard.
But again, Avery Bradley's a all-star defender,
and all first team, bro.
And he and a person like Dame's gonna get stuff off on J.R. Smith and Deion Waiters and Rayshawn Rondo that he was not gonna get off on Danny Green. So, I think the Lakers will be heavy on having to score points. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll definitely see what happens with that as well too. Something that was pretty funny.
So,
let me just find that joint real quick.
Temperatures rising.
All right, so a few teams have made it to the bubble. So the Magic, the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Suns, Wizards, the Nets, they all arrived to the Orlando bubble yesterday, I believe, which was Tuesday. This was recorded on Wednesday. And then some more teams are coming in as well, too.
Yeah.
But with the bubble itself, Troy Daniels made a huge impact on social media today, or last night rather, going into today as well too. And they showed some pictures of what the bubble meals look like. I don't know why Twitter is acting a little slow right now, but I wanted to show you that joint.
He said the bubble what?
The bubble dinner. So since they're in the bubble, like, they can't have any contact with anyone. They have to stay in their room the whole time. And
that's wild.
They basically, I think it's just for a little bit. Hold on, it's loading up right now. But anyways, like, I don't really know the details of what they can have, but I know that as the days progresses and all the teams come as well, then they're gonna have like some premier chefs come, so they're gonna have more food options as well too. I just wish this shit can pull up. I'm pretty sure it's on my
Irregular.
let's do my text right. You probably got that joint before me. Let me see that joint. I probably got it right here. Oh, there we go.
Oh, these joints right here.
Yeah, right here. Damn, it's really
The little
it's really
TV
expensive. You got it?
meal prep dinners.
You got that joint? Yeah, that's what they're getting as well too.
Wow.
So that looks like what? Go up. This looks like a
It's like
muffin.
Paul Webb basketball camp dinners.
Bruh, do you remember VCU days when we used to go to Cary Street Deli and they gave us that food in the tray with like sometimes they had like chicken with mashed potatoes and green beans?
I'm not gonna lie, Cary Street Deli was the stuff, but I could say like a Schaefer type joint, like Schaefer, like at lunchtime they used to be skimpy, boy. But Cary Street Deli was my joint because I could get over there and like get away with like not even swiping sometimes.
Oh, all the time, bro, all the time. But the funniest takeaway was like, yo, these guys are athletes. Like, do you really expect them to live off of something like that? Because I feel like the average sport athlete probably eats damn near 5 times a day, and some of them are on strict diets. So it's like, what can you not do? And then a lot of people are saying like, yo, if you basically like a lower level team, you're gonna get lower level meals. And then even Isaiah Thomas chimed in and said, LeBron ain't eating shit like that.
Nah, LeBron getting his flew in.
He getting his shit flown in, brother, man. But
That's funny.
yeah, that was pretty that was pretty hilarious.
That's astronaut
as well,
food.
too. Yeah, that's disgusting as well. So, players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and others have said this may be the hardest championship that they have to fight for due to the fact that they're going to be away from their families. It's on a neutral site. It's a lot of the fear of the unknown and just being kind of contained in this bubble for such a long time. It really can take a toll on you, not only physically, but mentally as well, too. A lot of people don't really be thinking about the mental issues that it comes with as well, too. And I believe Joel Embiid had chimed in, and then again, I do not know why my internet is acting super slow right now. But let me go ahead and find this link real quick with Joel Embiid. I mean, I can definitely summarize it, but I wanted to give the quotes. I love giving my quotes as well, too. Basically, Joel Embiid said that he is completely fine with being in the bubble, being under these strict guidelines, because when he's home in general, if he's not playing basketball, he's literally just posted up at the crib playing video games, just cooling and whatnot. But he doesn't necessarily trust other players to follow the guidelines as well too, because other people have different alternative, different modes as well too. Stephen A. Smith was one of the funny people that said, these dudes gonna be away from their shorties for a while, so they might go a little crazy or might be trying to do some stuff on the sneak tip as well too. Do you think that players, for the most part, knowing what's on the line, knowing what's at stake, you think they can stay in the bubble without breaking any quote unquote laws?
There's gonna be laws broken. Like, honestly, bro.
I mean, that's the whole point of rules, right? They're meant to be broken, right?
You would think in a pandemic, no, but yes. I mean, it's not happening, bro. But and not saying they're gonna be super egregious, but there's always the bylaws that, like, people are just like, you know what? After a while, it's gonna be hard to enforce some of it, because you got superstars that literally, it's like I don't even know like what to describe it as. It's like a training camp, and you're like off site for a training camp, and there are certain times you have to be in, and this, that, and the third. But it's that, but with like a tournament in a way. It's glorified Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And then don't take that comment super to heart. But I'm just saying, like, these people are being away from their homes. They're competing for something, and there are certain restrictions and guidelines to a lot of this stuff, and it's a lot. The NBA is doing a lot just to bring us, the NBA back, which I'm appreciative for the good-hearted effort in that, like he's like, yo, you want to bring it back so the fans can have this. I mean, but there's the flip side, you want to bring it back because of money and, probably the on down the line, that stuff that is bigger than even that. But yes, So if they planned it, there's good fire and momentum behind it. I'm really interested to see how this goes. You know,
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there's always that one bad apple in the group, so I wouldn't be surprised if
it's
someone
crazy when that
tries
apple's
this.
like 6'8" though.
Right, very noticeable. Right, someone's gonna break. It's probably gonna be someone from a team that's washed or about to get eliminated or something like
Yeah.
that. I just know, but we'll see. I have faith for now. Jersey labels. So through the NBPA and the NBA, they made some initiatives to support Black Lives Matter movement and the racial injustices that have been going on. So players are going to have an option to either have their last name or a particular, choice of words or slogans or whatever to replace their last name. So some options for the back of their jerseys are going to be Black Lives Matter, say their names, vote, I can't breathe, justice, peace, equality, freedom, enough, power to the people, justice now, and say her name, see us, hear us, yes we can, respect us, love us, listen to us, stand up, ally, anti-racist, I am a man, speak up, how many more? Group
Kumbaya,
epinotics,
my lord.
education reform, and mentor as well. So I think that's something that's pretty cool. And then also, they're also going to be putting on both ends of the court Black Lives Matter as well too, which is going to be displayed. We're going to get to see that when they go up and down the court as well. But one player actually spoke out about it, and it was your man's Mike Scott. So Mike Scott basically said, where is the quote said? He said this was a bad miss. They gave us some names and phrases to put on the back of jerseys. That was terrible. It was just a bad miss, a bad choice, Scott said Monday during a conference call with reporters. They didn't give players a chance to vote our opinions on it. They just gave us a list to pick from, so that was bad, that was terrible. I'm all about just doing instead of saying and posting or putting something on the back of your jersey. I don't think that's going to stop anything. And then let me see here. That's pretty much everything he said as well too. So you can agree, you can disagree. I can see where he's coming from, but sometimes I feel like you need a little bit more context because knowing what the NBA and how much power the players have, I'm pretty sure the NBPA spoke with Jaylen Brown, or Kyrie Irving, or Chris Paul, and so forth about what are some options we can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Since we're going to basically be in this bubble for a while, and it can be a potential distraction as well too from really what's going on. So I'm sure players, although they probably didn't necessarily reach out to him per se, but I'm sure some players thought of those different slogans to use as well too. And also, I feel like before you even give your 2 cents, I feel like it's a very close knit community. So I feel like a person like a Mike Scott can reach out to Chris Paul or Jaylen Brown or whatever and kind of talk things through as well too and voice his concerns as well. But I can see where he's coming from at the end of the day because, like I said, you can only do but so much in posting something on Instagram or, like I said, something on the back of your jersey. It's all about action at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Names, slogans, kneeling can only do but so much. What really matters is that federal legislation. What really matters is, players collaborating with that higher power, with white individuals essentially and lobbyists to essentially legislate some laws as well too. But do you have any thoughts on where Mike Scott stands at or anything like that?
Shout out to 75, real 757 kid. Shout out Deep Creek, Mike Scott, legend. But I think you summed it up pretty well. You guys even got into the bag of, there probably was some player input, even though, it didn't reach down the chain to Mike. So I understand his point, though. I very much get it. That's the thinker in me. But I think that the NBA PA was kind of given a bone in a way, and they took what they were getting out of like the discussions and because there was the Kyries up there that were advocating for I don't know we should start this and that and the third, and as they were reaching common ground, this is one of those things we kind of reached yeah, I guess that's the word, but they found a common ground on, and I think in this instance, because I could go down into a rabbit hole about it, but I won't. But I think in this instance, cool. You know what I'm saying? There are these little things that can shine the light on. But again, to my earlier point, we have to keep holding this thing that we put on a pedestal accountable. So they they can't be only cosmetics, just as uh, other organizations, huge money making organizations that profit off of us are just doing the cosmetic thing. Oh, Black Lives Matter, or we're gonna take a day off or stuff like that. No, like NBA is something that we very much are and within and kind of running because that's how much power the players can have, you know. So I think we have to keep holding them accountable. I think that what Mike said has a lot of validity. But it's an everyday battle. Keep pushing forward. I think the names on it does shine a little bit of light, as well as the other small stuff they're doing. But I just don't want it to be worse. I want it to be actions as well. So I get it. Let's keep pushing forward. This is a little victory. I'll take it for right now.
Yeah. We'll take it for right now. We'll see what comes about with everything as well, too. And our last topic, one of the last topics of the day, is going to be Adam Silver. So basically, Adam Silver expressed some concern that potential positive coronavirus cases following quarantine inside the league's campus setup will reveal, in essence, a hole in our bubble. So, in a virtual interview with Fortune Brainstorm Health, Silver said that the NBA expects more positive coronavirus cases to pop up as teams arrive to the NBA campus at Walt Disney World resorts this week. But once teams arrive, all personnel will be tested and must quarantine for at least 2 days. And I quote, "We won't be surprised when they first come down to Orlando if we have some additional players test positive. What will be most concerning is once players enter this campus and then go through our quarantine period, then if they were to test positive or if we were to have any positive tests, we would know we would have an issue." Then he also said we would know that there's in essence a hole in our bubble or that our quarantine or our campus is not working in some way. Silver added later, so that would be very concerning. We began testing all our players roughly 2 weeks ago, and as reported, we had a significant number of positive cases. I think that's more of a representation of what's happening around the country. And then I think through Florida, there's been a report that an additional 347 additional positive cases that were reported on Tuesday. So now this total for the state is over. Well, I'll give you exact numbers. 200,013, 794. And then he also said basically that they're going to be tested daily. There's guidance from medical experts on paper. Everything should work as well, too. But there could be a case if the numbers are just OD, there could be another postponement of the season as well, too. With everything that's in place, I mean, compared to every other sport, NHL, MLB, NFL, this seems like the most safe option, to be honest. If players are constantly getting tested, are having these rings tracked, conspiracy, having these rings tracked and showing early signs of symptoms, and they're only basically in contact with each other when they're actually playing the game, which doesn't make sense. I feel like if you test negative the whole time, you should be able to chill with someone who's negative as well, too. Yeah. But I guess I get what they're trying to do. But my whole thing is, like, if all these are put in place and people follow those guidelines, I think we should be fine. The only real concern is maybe the media or maybe the people who are running the hotel. So the concierge, the people that clean, that come into your hotel, and then the people that prep the food and whatnot. Yeah. That's my only concern because I don't think they're going to get tested on a daily basis as well too. So that's something to keep in mind. But do you think that with everything that's been mapped out, with all the laws put in place, and us actually being in a bubble as opposed to these other places, do you think that we can finish the 8 regular season games and can finish the entire playoff run to crown a champion? And that's my question for you.
I think it's possible. Do I think that the cases will be underreported? Yes, because there is a very strong chance that a very valuable players will maybe be asymptomatic and contract the virus possibly. And it could happen at a scale that the NBA wasn't prepared for, deeper into the timeline that they were prepared for. So I think once there's a point of no return on it, where they're going to look at the numbers and look at the stuff and be like, you know what,
Can't do it.
definitely if they're asymptomatic, and I'm saying can't do it, it's like can't cut it, like keep it rolling type thing.
Yeah.
So and this will also be a small picture to what all the other contact sports would probably look like. And definitely from an American standpoint, football, who's gonna, from all accounts that I've heard, play whether it rains or shines. So
Do what I say.
Yeah,
It's master talking.
I won't even get into that. I'm political activist Trey, but not very prevalent today. But we will get back all up into that. So yeah, I think the NBA is going to be the case study for other sports leagues. They're going to be watching it very closely, and that there will be some discrepancies here and there just because they want to keep it rolling, and that there's a very strict timeline for if you're going to say, nope, this is it, or when it's going to be like, you know what, we got all this momentum, we have the money rolling in, why would I stop this? And they're going to have to handle it accordingly and truthfully. But I think from a money standpoint, it might not be handled super truthfully. Just what I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I believe that we will see a concluded bubble season unless we get down there and the first 8 games are played and it's just like, yo, this can't happen. This can't happen. It might be a tease. So we'll see what happens. God willing, whatever happens will be for the best safety of the players and the athletes.
Yeah.
God willing. That's the God willing God would want to happen. Not God willing we get to finish the league. God willing we are safe. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, because like I said, on paper it looks good, but if people getting tested daily and we seeing cases getting caught left and right, that just makes you a little bit concerned of like how far is this virus being mutated and how little we still know about the virus as well too, right?
Yeah, that's the scarier, deeper part of it, and the fact that the best, probably healthiest people in the world are catching it, and then kind of like boo or sell. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like he just absorbed Gohan. Right. Who is gonna get next?
Who's next?
Who's next? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get the strongest people in the world. Who's gonna beat it? Other than Goku and the Spirit Bomb. So
yeah,
and not to be super facetious about it, not to be inconsiderate of it, because rest in peace to those who have lost their life. But taking it in what we're discussing in a moment, I'm just hoping that this organization takes every precaution, and if there is a red flag that comes up that is telling them that no, we can't continue with this, that they do take the right steps for it, because this is very serious. People are losing their lives from it, and we want to be safe. We want to kind of keep pushing on however we can with it, but COVID is a very serious thing, and if basketball is to continue, we want to continue with those precautions, with those safety measures.
I agree with you. And to top it all off, what was my question for you? Who you got in the finals? How many games?
I'm going to go with the Clippers and the Sixers. 6 games.
Why the Sixers?
I think they could get it really rolling. I think the startup, and I just
hot take.
Yes, it's a very hot take.
Put money on this?
No, I'm not trying to put money on it. This is a hot take. It's just a hot take. That's where I am today. That's how I'm feeling today. Next week I'll come and say some other bullshit. That's just how I feel today. I want to see if I'm right in like 2 months, 3 months.
Oh man!
Yeah, if I'm right, bro, what? I'm gonna come back to this shit.
But, for sure.
Yeah, so I'll just say that. I'll say, they have a core that's coming out that can get the job done on defense. I think with the renewed startup, it could play into the Sixers' hands.
With no fans. Ben Simmons might be shooting.
Yeah, I think I think the Clippers at with low management thrown out the window in a way. I think it could really help them, a full team, have more time together, closing it, we'll see what happens. So I'm just throwing some dark horses out there for my pick this week. That's all.
For sure.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Sure. Yeah.
Who you got?
The East is still tough for me. I'm just gonna go off of the numbers for the East. So I got the Bucks, but I don't know, man. The fact that they're on a neutral site really makes me wonder how a role player is gonna play. Obviously, like you said, it's gonna be like an AAU type of vibe and whatnot. But players, I mean, this is the exact reason why teams, play to get a top seed so they can get home court advantage. So a home court advantage taken away, we might see the most competitive, 48-minute game. So right now, I want to say the Bucks. And then if Avery Bradley didn't get hurt, I would sort of lean towards the Lakers because just with everything going on and Kobe passing away, it feels like it's destined for the Lakers.
And this is a terrible question, but what's wrong with Avery Bradley again? I'm sorry. You say he's hurt?
No, family and health.
Okay, family. Oh,
Yeah.
Got you.
So, if Avery Bradley wasn't
not taking the time off,
Yeah,
but
niggas
staying with his
time
family.
off, I may have them there because that kind of changes the dynamic as far as player rotation go. But I've been pretty consistent with my views on everything. So I got the Bucks playing the Clippers, and I think that goes to 6 games. So I'm keep saying that hopefully, but like Trey said, I might change my mind on some bullshit next
On
week
some
as well
bullshit.
too. Any last words?
Now everybody stay safe. Still rest in peace to all that lost their life to police brutality, to COVID. Don't stop the momentum. I think yesterday was the day of not spending only at Black-owned businesses. So let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep everything up. Let's keep finding ways to come together in a safe manner, definitely during this pandemic because it is affecting our communities unproportionately. Keep the fighting. One person is not the revolution. Everyone is a part of the revolution, so it lives on forever and always. Let's change this world, one step, one thing at a time. And excited for the NBA to come back. Happy to be back in the spot, man. Praying for our fans, praying for the safety, man. And this is the Seezus show. You already know.
Facts. I agree with everything you said, so no need to repeat. But I forgot to point out, can we just acknowledge Patrick Mahomes, 10-year contract worth $503 million.
Get paid, young killer. Get paid.
He got paid. Damn,
that's crazy.
That's fire. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you earlier,
What's up?
Obviously, if I'm gonna I trust giving him that 10-year contract. I mean that 10-year contract because one, the quarterback position is the most important position. We can all agree with that. And then 2, rules are set up that they can actually last a long time. You got Tom Brady who 42, 43, Drew Brees about to be 40, Phillip Rivers still playing, Ben Roethlisberger still playing, Aaron Rodgers still playing. You can play a long time, and he's only 24 years old right now, which is crazy. But if the NBA were to give 10-year contracts out like that, who do you think will be the first player
to get a 10-year?
To get a 10-year contract. Not looking at past players. Oh, obviously LeBron would get a 10-year contract, or a KD, or like a Dirk Nowitzki or Tim Duncan would get a 10-year contract. But who's a current player? Who's the first player that comes to mind when you think of a 10-year contract?
Giannis.
Giannis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Young, he's right in that fold, and damn near indestructible right now. So Giannis. Giannis, and then the young guys will fall in after that. But Giannis is in his prime, has shown it, and
The first person that came to my mind was Luka.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Giannis' game is more so built on his strength and athleticism, and Luka's more so finesse. So I feel like his game can last for a longer time span than Giannis' game as well too. But then again, we do got modern technology, modern medicine, all the best doctors in the world as well too. LeBron been playing for 17 years. His body still look like he's 25, and even Russell Westbrook's playing still at a high level as well too. I don't know how to this day, knock on wood, but I can see where you're coming from with Giannis as well too. But anyways, that was my question of the day, so to say. So Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 85 of the Seezus Show. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at the Seezus Show, at TradeXXIV, at Sir Seezus. We out.